What's up, guys? Mark Fleetwood here, back with Old Line Fishing. Today's video is one I've been excited to bring for a long time. Been fishing with this thing for about a year now. Can't wait to do a review on it. And that is the Shimano Expride. Stay tuned. I'm going to tell you all about it. Alright guys, let's talk about this Shimano Expride. The model I have, 7-foot light plus spinning rod. Get into some technical things about the rod. It is made of the same material, the CI4 Plus, as their higher end reels, the Stratic CI4 Plus and some others. 10% lighter than the previous Expride material. It's also made with X-Power wrap, so it's got a carbon wrap or carbon tape wrapped with a high power wrapping. Keeps the rod from bowing side to side. Allows for great casting accuracy, great fish fighting power even on a light rod. The guides, these guides are hybrids. They're called semi-micro guides. So they're smaller, they're lighter, but if you're someone like me who fishes primarily braid to leader, they're still big enough for you to do that without a problem. There really isn't enough great things to say about this rod. Getting into my personal experience with it, the feel and the sensitivity is just beyond exceptional. I had to kind of learn how to fish again with this thing. It forced me to really pay attention to everything I felt, because the sensory input from the rod was just so powerful. I could feel every little bump on a rock, every blade of grass. Could feel when the bottom changed from a soft sandy bottom to a rock bottom, or if there was a lay down tree and I was running over branches. Every feel was distinct, and eventually I learned how to distinguish the feel of bumping a rock to the feel of getting a bite. Because if you've never fished with a high-end spinning combo and you're doing a lot of bottom contact, you're going to swing on a rock. It's going to happen, because the feel is just that good on this thing. Lightweight. This rod is so light. Can cast this thing all day, get no fatigue, no issues with shoulders or elbows or anything. I have a pretty bad pinched nerve in my neck. It makes my right arm go numb with almost any overhead work or repetitive motions over and over and over throughout the course of a day. This does not trigger that. This rod, I can throw it all day long, no problems, no issues. Now to the crux of the video. All that being said, this rod retails for $279. $279, is it worth it? Obviously that's a subjective question. If you don't have the budget for it, you just don't have the budget for it. That's fine. That is absolutely okay. There are great rods at $100, at $150, at $200. What I will say is that I've fished with other rods in the same price point, namely the Dobyns Champion XP, and they don't compare. The rod simply does not compare to the Expride. And I loved Dobyns rods. I was a Dobyns fanboy for so long. The Champion XP was my favorite rod I've ever used, until I used the Expride. So with that being said, guys, if you have the budget, this thing fishes as though it's a $400 to $500 rod. Many other reviewers have said the same. This thing is on par, or very close to being on par, with the George Loomis NRXs and GLXs. Sorry if I got those wrong. I believe it's NRX and GLX, but those are the $500 plus rods from George Loomis, or from G Loomis, and this thing is on par with them at $279. So if you have the budget for high-end gear, this is absolutely worth the money. If you can afford to have multiple rods at $100, $150, save for one for a spinning rod and get the Expride. My reason being is that you don't need an expensive rod for crankbaiting, or for throwing spinner baits, or any type of reactionary bite where you don't have to feel bottom. You don't have to feel the bass just pick up the bait and know that you got a bite. For the most part, spinner baits, crankbaits, top water, they're going to get hammered. You're going to know you got hit. But when you have to finesse, and you have to know what the bottom feels like, and you have to know what those lightest little bites feel like, you need the better gear. So, in conclusion, the Shimano Expride is a fantastic, phenomenal rod. This is my favorite rod that I've ever used by far. Unfortunately, I do not have the budget to have an entire outfit of these rods. This will be the only one I have for a long time. But I made a conscious effort to fish better in finesse scenarios. So I went with something that I felt like I knew I was going to really enjoy and really get the most bang for the buck out of. And at $279, you might not think that there's a bang for the buck aspect on this. But when it fishes as though it's a $400 to $500 rod, there truly is. So guys, that's my review on the Shimano Expride. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. Until next time, peace.